Thursday, Friday Eve, Doc L.E. Listener. And the Professor John Gotti, the King Divine, the Troll Master, the Data Analyzing Ninja, Conqueror, the Terminator. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the cleaner. Not to be confused with that no ball cleaner. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. But the official cleaner of Debate Amongst Friends.
The fastest technical giver in the West. The best podcast machine. Delete type machine.
Wow.
We got Thursday Night Football today. Oh my goodness, Doc. Are you
hype?
I can feel it in my veins. And new TNT champion. Shout out to Sammy Guevara for beating the Redeemer Miro. What a great match that was.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I heard it was pretty good. But I didn't think I would get a technical for that. It's trending on Twitter.
You knew you was going to get technical for that.
That's terrible.
I can't believe you said that.
Come on. But we got a game tonight. Paul Brown Stadium. We got the Jags looking for their first win, and we got the Cincinnati Bengals who are actually leading their little division. Little division.
Very surprised.
No, I think Joe Burrow just needed to get healthy, and I mean they had a pretty good team last year. Prior to him getting hurt, he was having a great campaign.
I
and
agree.
Then you go out and draft a freaking receiver that he played with in college that he has some familiarity with, and although their offense is still not like super clicking, I mean they're 28th. Even the Jaguars are 23rd in offense.
Yeah.
But the Bengals
defense is what's bringing them over. Well, and the rushing attack is pretty decent too. It's around middle of the pack at 17.
Middle of the pack, yep. And the Jaguars at 18. I think it's really that passing to two number one picks, going at it. I think this should be a good one.
Yeah, it could be a pretty good high scoring affair, depending on how this goes. Of course, this is Thursday, so it could turn into a blowout real quickly.
Could. Or it could turn into a shootout. It could be one of the greatest games of the season.
So far, we're 2 for 3 for Thursday Night Football this season. So let's hopefully we don't hit 500 with good games.
Agreed. But yeah, this should be a good one. I'm interested to see, because obviously this is the first 3-game losing streak in Trevor Lawrence's life.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see, how his mental capacity is taking. I mean,
the great ones find a way.
This is true.
Plus this is rookie season. Like, no one was expecting him to immediately make the team into a playoff contender.
That's true.
So the expectation wasn't playoff or bust.
I think it stinks. Only reason it usually stinks is because another rookie usually shines a little brighter, right? So you had Joe Burrow last year, right?
Yep.
Then you had
Justin Herbert last year too.
Justin freaking Herbert playing very well. So luckily Mac Jones didn't do too great.
Nope.
Right.
So far this rookie class doesn't have a QB that's like a shining light.
Exactly. So far we've been pretty good. But I'm taking the Bengals on this one.
I am too. Of course, the spread currently is at minus 7.5 points for the Bengals. I think they're gonna cover that one easily tonight.
Yeah, I think it'll be 10 minimum. I don't think this is coming down to
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 minimum. Unless unless there's some
last minute punt return for a touchdown that ruins people's dreams of winning like $300 on a $2 parlay.
Right. And that kind of stuff, freaking oh, we don't want to go out without a fight, and they do a quick 50-minute or 50-second drive just to show, moral victories that they didn't quit. I'm sure that'll make a lot of people angry.
Yeah, fortunately.
Um, but this. Let's jump to the players of the month that they just released, which is very interesting. Really quickly here, I did see one pop up on my screen, and that was Cooper Cup,
Mm-hmm.
who obviously dominated the Bucks, but he's obviously been dominating all month. So,
Yep,
367 yards, 25 receptions, which 25 receptions in a month is beastly,
it is beastly.
and 5 touchdown
I
catches.
mean, the Rams as a whole been beastly,
That's
if we're
why
going to be honest.
I didn't want to pick the Bucks, but I went against my.
Your gut?
Yeah, that's why I got Good Belly. Even though they're not paying us for the sponsorship, I got Good Belly so that I can trust my gut.
Oh, good Billy better get us on the phone then, so they can start paying
I
us so we
know,
can advertise
I
them.
know.
But yeah,
Um,
Cooper Cup been. I mean, they could have easily gave it to Matthew Stafford. I wouldn't have been upset with that either, because
true.
I
That's
mean,
true. They could have.
they're probably, this is so far his campaign to win for like comeback player of the year, but I still feel like that's disrespectful to him.
I mean, comeback year. They mentioned Von Miller. Obviously, the Broncos 3-0. You might have Teddy Bridgewater as comeback player. It just depends on how they choose to play it. I mean, the way Joe Burrows is playing, he might be comeback player of the year if he can stay healthy and get through the season.
See, he doesn't win comeback player of the year. He just wins. You survived.
Wow. Then you have Jacksonville Jaguars. The only standout player they have so far is James Agnew, who had 2 plus 100-yard touchdowns in September, 102 and 109 field goal return, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
And that's one of those plays that I think would bring that score below 7. That's the one, the field goal return that you don't expect.
yeah. Well, I
Um,
did say a punt return, so
you did. They have Dallas cornerback Trevon Diggs, who did have a pick six this past weekend, um, which adds his 3 interceptions, 9 tackles, 6 pass defense. I think outside of week one, um, which I mean they didn't give up a lot of yards, but Trevon Diggs has been pretty good for the
yeah.
Cowboys, and they needed their defensive backs to be better. So, boom. Then we have NFC Special Teams Player of the Month, Mitch Wishnowsky,
Wishnowsky. Yep.
right? 46.8 yards per punt, an impressive 8 out of 11 punts inside the 20. That's
Someone whom, for those that don't know and don't watch the Pat McAfee show, definitely check them out, but also check us out as well too on YouTube. Um, Rave about.
yeah, he's killing it. Definitely killing it. I've seen some really good punts so far, and we don't really give punters enough credit. But when you can pin somebody in that 5 to 10 yard line, I mean that really helps switch the field
Yeah,
position.
yeah. It puts the opposing team's offense with their backs against the wall, literally.
Exactly. And the last two
Who was it last
here,
season? Was it Sam Decker was the person last season?
no, Sam Decker is the basketball player. It is a Decker. I
Yeah,
don't
there
think
is
it's
a
a Sam
Decker.
though. I think let's just skip it. We don't care about the Decker. That's not even good. We got 2 rookies here. Jamar Chase and Asante Samuel Jr. Obviously,
Johnny Hecker is the name.
Johnny Hecker, that's better. Jamar Chase, as we mentioned, for the Bengals rookie who partnered with the LSU Tiger last season, or 2 seasons ago, I should say. The Bengals bringing in Jamar Chase was smart to help Joe Burrow's growth. He has
Mm-hmm.
11 receptions for 220 yards. And Asante Samuel Jr., which we officially know that we're getting old, 11 tackles,
Jeez.
4 pass defended, and 2 interceptions. We know we're getting old because Tom Brady's getting old, and Tom played against his dad, and now probably will be in the same league to play
Against
against.
and with his dad.
Right, against and with it. That's right. He did play with his dad. But this is a great month for football. Hoping that October is
It's
just
just
as
as
fun.
good, if not better.
But we know, just like we've been doing the last week or two, we got these quarterback rankings. We'll say 1 through what, 10?
Let's do 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Let's
All
see if
right.
there's anyone who like significantly. I guess yeah, we do have to do 1 through 10 because number
1 through 10.
six,
That's what I thought.
people are going to feel a
Exactly.
certain type of way about number 6.
So we know Tom Brady. Obviously, he's going to continue to stay up top because of his age. Number one, and number two, he's still putting up. I mean, come on, every week, 44-year old, 44-year old, 44-year old. Like the fact that he's 44 and he still has 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, compared to Big Ben, as we talked about, who's
Yeah.
really struggling. And then obviously number two, Dak. He's playing great football, and he was playing great football before he got hurt. So
What part of he's going to help people win fantasy this year? People don't understand when I said that before the season started.
he's dominating, though. I'll give Dak a little credit. He moves up 6 slots, and he deserves it. He definitely deserves it, as well as
Someone
Derek
else who
Carr.
deserves it too. Exactly. He's playing at an
I'm glad.
MVP type level season too.
Which last week we talked about this, and we said that he should have been higher, but and I'm glad they listened to us. They moved him up six
I mean,
slots.
obviously, the writers for NFL.com obviously listen to us because we're only 133 more listens away from 10,000 listens. So
I think
obviously
we'll
they
get
was listening to
10,000 by.
us.
I feel like we'll get 10,000 by tomorrow. We'll
Oh,
put that read out there.
you gonna put that read out there?
I am
Uh
gonna put
oh.
that read out
Is,
there.
is is that is that a okay? I like that. Okay, we shall see
You like that
tomorrow.
one, huh? So Matthew Stafford also we talked about last week, moving up 8 slots, number 4, which I don't know how he was down there so far. 9 touchdowns now, winners, one
I think
interception,
people want to see if he'll be consistent at least throughout the first 3 weeks. So I can
and
understand
that
that.
makes sense. And then
Again, this
Aaron,
is because they only looked at the Lions overall instead of what Matthew Stafford has done.
true. Even though I did see a quick clip yesterday of Matthew Stafford throwing it up to Megatron, and I mean that had to be fun for that time period. But again, that could have held him back also because his
hmm
development after Megatron wasn't great. But now he has a slew of receivers, so that helps.
Exactly. And a good
Number
offensive
five,
line.
true. You did mention that. Number five, you had Aaron Rodgers dropping 2 slots. It's still good numbers.
It's
649
it's he's
yards,
still
six
top
touchdowns.
five. Like if they would have put him out of the top five, I would have had an argument with that. But I'm okay with him at number 5 for now.
It depends. I would have to see who the rest of other people are in the top 10. Let's see. Because last week we had disagreements after 5 or 6. So let's see what happens. So Patrick Mahomes obviously fell. He had a
Yeah,
really
he
rough
needed to
game.
fall. He needed to fall.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Number 7, Justin Herbert fell 1 slot. I could understand why he fell. I mean, you add those other 2 to 3 people that we said should have been up here anyway.
hmm
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
number
I would be inclined to even say that Justin Herbert should be number 6
mm,
based off performance only. I'm not going
based on
based off the
performance
name.
only. Yeah, I mean it's pretty close. I think the only thing that separates Mahomes from Herbert is the rushing yards, which is not much, maybe 30 yards we're talking about here. But he's passing a little bit more, and that passing percentage. Again, I don't know how much weight they put on that, but
Yep.
it's always something. And Lamar Jackson fell, which we figured that he would. And I think he was who we were talking about last week, because we were saying
hmm
that we weren't really trying to be Lamar Jackson haters,
Nope.
but when you look at the body of work that the other quarterbacks are putting out there, you add in the fumbles and interceptions, he should start to drop a little bit.
Exactly. I feel like people are
And
disrespecting the Lions by saying, well, he struggled against the Lions. Like,
yeah,
it's
don't
the
play the
NFL
Lions.
team. Stop it.
The Lions are tough, man. Number 9, Kyler Murray, 1,000 yards, 9.9 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, no fumbles. So far, he has a total of 11
He
touchdowns.
is one of 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 with over 1,000 passing yards so far this season.
And he's definitely improved. I will say that I haven't obviously kept up with his fantasy numbers, but
hmm
he's definitely improved from what I've seen.
Yeah,
And
he
then
just
number
gotta
10,
get those interceptions down.
oh, is that alarm right here? Is that fire? That means we must be getting close to the end. I see Kirk Cousins. Maybe that was apropos. Kirk
That was
Cousins
apropos.
918 yards, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions through 3 games. That's impressive so far.
That
Because
is very impressive.
he throws them up.
He does.
He
He
throws them
does.
up.
I think for him to get closer to the top five, the offense as a whole has to become a little bit more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that starts with him. But I also think that their rushing attack needs to get better.
Yeah. Anybody you see outside of the top 10 that you think should be a little
Josh
higher?
Allen should probably be, honestly,
Because
and
he was
this might
number
be
10,
controversial.
yeah.
I might make, I might take Kyler Murray out of the top 10 and put Josh Allen in there.
Interesting. I wouldn't put him in the top 10, but I do think that Teddy Bridgewater should be higher. No interceptions, no fumbles, 827 yards, 4 touchdowns.
I
Um,
think it's
th-
because of who they played against, which is
that's
why
right.
they're not putting
That's
him up.
right. They did beat. They swept New York. That's right. They
Yes,
did.
that's why.
Oh, that stinks. All right, so maybe give him one more week
One
and
more
see
week.
what he does.
Yep.
And then shout out to I know we talk about it, but shout out to Daniel Jones, man. Staying at number 16 is awesome for Daniel
Yeah.
Jones.
I mean, he finally had a pretty bad game last week against the
But
Falcons.
even bad isn't terrible this
Awful.
year. Like last year was really bad, like really bad. But no interceptions on the year so far. That's pretty good.
Hmm.
I'll give him credit. And only person I would say outside of that is shout out to freaking Jacoby Brissett. He didn't throw no touchdowns, but I mean he has the Dolphins battling at least. He wasn't
Yeah.
rated at all. He went from not rated to 23, so that's pretty awesome. It's pretty
Also,
awesome.
shout outs to Sam Darnold,
Sam Darnold. I mean,
who,
he's
despite the
winning.
injury to CMC, I mean,
Right.
they're still winning.
Right. Now, the one thing I will say, I spoke with my cousin the other day, and he said Daniel Jones stinks, and I was like, well, the one thing you don't want to happen is you let Daniel Jones go to another team, and then he becomes Sam
And
Darnold,
then he
right?
becomes, yes.
So I think the Giants have to realize that, or you fans have to realize that it's not just Daniel Jones; it's like the whole organization.
I feel like, and this would be a quick take for him. I feel like
Hmm.
what he's really saying is the Giants stink,
Right.
but since Daniel Jones is the quarterback, he stink in association.
No, he blames a lot on Daniel Jones, like the throws, the fumbles. He's really good. He really gets mad at the
He only
fumbles.
had 3 fumbles.
It's really
Well, at
weird,
least he only lost 3 fumbles.
and he's like practically leading in rushing.
Yes. All I have to
Oh my
say
god!
to your cousin is watch the games.
Relax, relax. Yeah, we'll see. The
Oh no,
Giants
no,
did
I'm not
just.
gonna go Aaron Rodgers with that. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
do
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no. We're not gonna say relax, but I mean, give the guy a chance. I don't think they ever gave him a chance.
No,
So,
no, they didn't give him a chance once he got drafted.
but we both have Cincinnati winning tonight. We both want to watch and see what happens with these quarterbacks. We want a nice, clean October football. And
We shall see.
mañana we'll
We
come
shall
back
see.
and see if the Bengals covered the spread, then, Johnny. And if we covered my spread of being over 10,000 listens.
Yeah, I like
But
it.
I know that people heard this podcast on their favorite podcast platform. But if they didn't, they can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com to listen to this episode as well as all the previous. Be sure to tune in tomorrow again as we go over that Bengals Jaguars matchup, Thursday night football. And you come back here tomorrow for the news, the analysis, and the reads.
And that's in order.